Hello everyone, friends, Mozart here. As a matter of fact, we've hit a new low, for Bitcoin. That is, I warned about this, warned more than once, that it was possible, and the results went below 75,000. Interestingly enough, the drop is happening on, well, not exactly low volume, but for such candles, for such a drop, the volume is quite low. Although yesterday's candle was slightly above average volume, it was still quite low. If there is even the slightest positive news now, the market will shoot up just like that. That is very high. What else do we have here? What else would I like to say here? Importantly, we finally tested the annual moving average. Also, a lot of times I have pointed out that yes, we went there, but there is some ambiguity. This ambiguity is now resolved. Yes, there wasn't a convergence. MACD now it is starting to appear. The question is, where will we stop? I think that we will draw this convergence. Because for Bitcoin to fall below this dip here, it would have to fall to. Under current conditions, it seems unlikely. I think we will draw this convergence. And as I already mentioned, to around 90,000, maybe even higher. So, regarding my positions, well, the first one I already mentioned. Right, the first major buyback was range 77 to 78, so I bought it back. I had a limit order. I also talked about these limit orders in the past, 77,500 to 77,600 I had, and that was the first entry point. I'll mark it on the chart. And the second entry point, as I mentioned, the next range that interests me, is located here. If to be more precise, you can set it in the range of 70 to 72,000, or with a single limit order around 71,100 there, from 71, for example, just to be safe. This is the second buyback, which I have set here, with a slightly larger volume. If it gets bought back, my average entry will be around 70. Oh, a bit more, somewhere around 73 will be my average entry. With some change, perhaps, I haven't calculated. And the stop, for now, tentatively, is 65 to 65, but more likely, a range of 65. I haven't decided exactly where yet. Well, not lower, because that would be it, the end. As for the bull market, that is, now, Bitcoin has gone through a correction of 32.2%. That is, for understanding, from the March peak to the trough. On the 5th of August 24th year, it was about 34%. Bitcoin has done almost the same thing. Now, almost the same. Against this backdrop, the S&P 500 also is plummeting down catastrophically. Just for the S&P 500, this is an incredible drop. It's worse than what's happening now in crypto with Bitcoin. For the S&P 500, it's almost 22%. For your understanding, historical drops in the S&P 500 below 20% meant the start of a bear market. That is, it's a confirmed bear market. Let's see where today's candle closes. It hasn't closed yet. The trading day has just begun, in fact. But right now, if it closes as it is, it's the start of a bear market, and historically, these were points where some sort of political panic occurred. Perhaps, I suppose, that if nothing changes, the press will most likely, as in March 23rd year, when there was a banking crisis, urgently start, I don't know, what to do. Inject liquidity, what's happening in the market is intense. And Trump doesn't want to back down from his tariffs, and he has confirmed many times that he doesn't want to do this. Playing golf, China also isn't giving in and is imposing retaliatory tariffs of 34%. And, in the last 5 years, for the S&P 500, this is the third largest drop. That is, the first was COVID, about 33%. Then the bear market, 22nd, 20, first year of the 22nd year, a total drop of 27% in the S&P 500. This, by the way, also was across all crypto, but much less. Now this decline in structure, that is, look at the angle of decline here and here. This decline resembles COVID, 100% COVID. The same is confirmed by the VIPs. The volatility index, also over the last 5 years, the third strongest volatility index. In general, it has jumped to 60. Also, on the 5th of August, it was 66, and during COVID, it was 84. 1, 2, 3. One of the strongest declines in history, again. I am considering only the American one. This is catastrophically down at multi-year lows. They are giving 62 for Brent now. Even gold has given up. It has flown downwards. Silver has fallen significantly. Silver is being bought back a little. Copper, as a proxy for recession, has also fallen quite significantly. Everything has fallen significantly, everything, and in any case, we are interested in crypto. Yes, I am just showing that now the nature of the decline is starting to resemble something. If there was some reason to say of the third type, that is, independent of anyone, then here the reason specifically depends, and the whole world knows who can fix it, but this person is currently playing golf and does not want to do it. Therefore, in any case, what I can do now is only from the picture. The picture is the chart is the chart. And what I am specifically doing here right now, so I worked around 77,500, there is a small grid in the average block. Further above, the head short, which I had globally, in case of position protection, I didn't reach it. Initially, I had it set at 88,900, and I also just missed it. It's a pity, by the way. It was a good entry point for a short. I'm removing this one. It doesn't make sense, because if we return there now, it will be a global reversal. Well, not a reversal, perhaps it will just be a strong bounce in the bear market, but it will be dangerous for the head short. I'm removing it, that's all. Therefore, right now I only have a limit order below, somewhere around 71,000, 71,100. Volumes are slightly larger than the upper one. Well, not down with the average. And this is a reasonable target where Bitcoin might descend. That is, what I'm saying is that it's quite likely this isn't over yet. And if in the near future we don't hear any positive signals, whether from Trump, Trump's trade partners, the European Union, China, or if the Federal Reserve doesn't give in first to start injecting money into the market, this month and last month are quite likely. This is more targeted. As I also mentioned in the previous video, keep in mind it's more than realistic. Under current conditions, it's more than realistic. But now it's starting to look like the formation of a global reversal. A global reversal with a target on. Yes, here, a rebound, 90 plus. If you consider the pictures, usually more often, during strong declines, now there's a strong decline. Not taking into account, yes, what's happening with Trump and so on. It purely looks like it can be done now. Here we break through. And leave quite quickly, indeed. By the way, there's also a gap on the futures at 84,000 on the CNG. The fighter is lower. There, around the 69 level, there are many different prices and a different setup. Because it started trading later. Next, the second option. We don't hold here. On the annual, lower, here, like this, like this, like this, like this. We bounce back, stand still for a bit. Where will we fall here? I have a limit order at 71,100. The object might fall. Let's look at the nearest gaps. Here they are. Trump's victory. Upcoming, November 71. These are the marks. There's a gap here. There might be a dip below 70, possibly on an impulse there, but most likely it will be quick, and it will be quickly bought back from below 70. It won't be, but I can't predict it now. I'm just saying, here are two main options I've outlined. So, the scenario where we go down like this, breaking through everything, all the way down to 62, 63, is the least likely. A very tough, painful scenario. If we follow this scenario, well, the S&P 500 would have to drop by more than 30. And if it falls like that all at once without a correction, I don't know what might start happening in the world. That would be a repetition of some extremely large-scale and negative events, because they're even starting to talk about Trump's impeachment. Someone from the Democrats is preparing to file in the next 30 days. Protests as well, yes, which you all know, are happening in America against Trump, against his policies. I think that here, when this level is breached, someone will give in first. Well, I'm talking about Bitcoin. There will be similarly critical levels for the S&P and Nasdaq, respectively. So here, someone will give in first, from my point of view. So, such a scenario where we go down like this, to 62 without stops. To say that I don't see it. Yes, I don't see it, at the moment. But it would be more accurate to say that it is. Well, unlikely. Well, reasonably unlikely. Although, anything is possible. And especially in the current conditions, when there is fear in the market, the fear and greed index, I don't remember how much. There's a nauseating wave here, but I try to act appropriately according to the chart. And now it's a good start. I waited a long time for these entry points, and I finally got them. And if I waited so long, I will approximately. That is, somewhere. I've already mentioned the range of 62. Well, accordingly, the daily candle close is exactly the trigger stop, meaning a close below it. I will say more later in the Telegram channel. The link to my Telegram channel is in the description below this video. Next, Bitcoin. On the weekly chart, it has fully completed its double top with a bit of a margin, actually. Well, I mean in terms of the bodies. The shadow, I even worked it out, but not completely, not fully by the shadows, but almost completely. There's still some margin left. That's why I'm sticking with the 71 limit order. The correction is quite strong. Really quite strong. We're dropping below the 40th on the weekly chart. This is also a historical level, the threshold that separates the bull market from the bear market. And as long as this is the boundary of the bull market, the bull and bear market, that is, the fate is about to be decided somewhere now. At 7:30, it has a value, and it's been hitting this for quite a while now. And for a very long time, it has wanted to rebound, for a very long time. But it's waiting for at least some positive decision, and then it will be the first to give in. And as soon as an impulse appears, well, as soon as something appears, even if the Fed comes out urgently and says, guys, we'll inject $500 billion. Well, because we don't know what will happen next. What about trillions, more than 6 trillion? If everything is left as it is, well, I don't know what will happen next. It will continue. If Trump doesn't give in first. And against this backdrop, everyone is watching where I mentioned. There. Total 3. Alts have once again updated. Hit a new low. On the 10th of March, well, the beginning of March, that was the first low, the annual moving average. We broke through it, the moving average. The signal is generally bad. The fact that we didn't hold the annual moving average and are breaking downwards is a bad signal. Honestly, I'll say straight away, just don't have any hopes right now. What am I expecting here for altcoins? What are the options? So, the 40th index, what? We are also holding it. For now, it's also the boundary. For transitioning into a bear market, despite what's happening, we're holding it. For now. Well, the stochastic is also in the floor, just like with Bitcoin, it's all similar. Regarding the moving averages and the layouts. So, right now, this is the stopping zone. The global stopping zone for altcoins. It might go lower. If Bitcoin goes to 7100, total 3 to the area of 600 to 620. I've marked this line here. I also marked it before the rebound. And here are the 200 and 100 weekly moving averages. Not daily, but weekly. The situation here is quite similar to Bitcoin. Altcoins won't move separately from Bitcoin. Either we rebound from the current levels, stop at the 600 to 620 mark, and then rebound from there. Globally, for altcoins, I expect what I mentioned earlier, that is, a rebound to somewhere around 900 to $1 trillion, closer to $1 trillion. This boundary, all of this, I want to see it bought up, even if it eventually transitions into a bear market. That is, typically, this drop is bought up at 38.2 to 50%. Historically, the same thing happened in 22 before, further moving into a bear market. That is, look, we bought up 50%, roughly around here, about $1 trillion, and then continued downwards. And here I will continue to make decisions. What to do with the remaining global long positions from my medium-term portfolio. This concerns the altcoins. Those are the main thoughts. I've said everything I wanted to say. I will continue to record videos as the situation develops. Thank you all. This was Monster. I wish us all good luck and a great week. Goodbye, everyone.